A few weeks ago, I shared my very first bass playthrough with Iron Maiden's Deja Vu after 5 years of only making guitar videos. And since you asked for more Iron Maiden bass videos, here we are with a playthrough of Aces High. Now, before you dismiss this as an overplayed classic, just do me a favor and bear with me because there is a very good reason why I chose this song. And just before I get into that, let's talk about this newest addition to the channel. This is, of course, a Fender Steve Harris signature precision bass, which I just picked up the other day. So it's essentially a 70s style precision bass with the chunky neck, the big logo on the headstock, and the 70s style tuners. The main difference is that the wood isn't ash or alder like the originals. Both the neck and the body are all maple, so this thing is rather heavy. And personally, I like guitars to be a bit on the heavier side. They just feel more substantial to me. And I don't know how much the wood actually contributes to the tone, but it definitely has a nice, bright sound. And despite the weight and the chunky neck, I find it feels very comfortable to play and the neck is very smooth. If you'd like to see a more detailed review of it on here, let me know in the comments. And I want to give a big shout out to Sam and Mario from LA Music for making this purchase super easy and very enjoyable. If you've been watching for some time, you know that how I acquire an instrument is very important to me, as the feeling I get from that experience will come back whenever I pick it up. These guys have the coolest place with some seriously awesome instruments, and they're a real pleasure to deal with. I got the feeling that they can really appreciate when an instrument from their shop goes to the right musician. And I don't say this just from my direct experience, but from the other interactions I witnessed with other clients of theirs as well. And they ship worldwide, so go check them out at lamusic.com. I've also included a link in this video's description. I have some really cool plans for this bass, so if you're not subscribed or if your notifications for this channel aren't turned on, please do so. It's a small gesture that doesn't cost you a thing, but it really goes a long way in supporting the work we do on the channel. Okay, so why did I pick Aces High for this video? Well, of course it is a great song and it's a lot of fun to play whether it's on guitar or on bass, but also there are some really cool things going on that you might not have noticed before, and I want to go over two of those real quick before I play the song. The first one is during the verse section. Now in this part, the guitars are doubling the vocal melody with these moving power chords. Right, like that. On a song with a more laid back or grinding tempo like maybe Iron Man by Black Sabbath, having all the instruments play that same line together can sound crushingly heavy and powerful. But on a fast-paced song like Aces High, that could end up sounding a little bit silly. So what Steve does instead is he plays a simple line centered around the root note that keeps a steady rhythmic pulse along with the drums. So the first half of the verse is in E, so he plays it like this. And hammering on from the 7th, which is a classic way to play a line like this, right from the D to the E. And then he's adding the punctuation notes at the end of each line, just to make it more interesting. Now when it moves up to A, he plays the same thing up a 4th, like this. Now the second thing I wanted to look at is the pre-chorus. Here he plays mostly in unison with the guitars, but on the two tails, it's a little bit different. The guitars are playing the first tail like this. And the second one like this. Now clearly the articulation is very guitar-like. It's fluid, especially with the use of a few pull-offs. But this song was written by Steve Harris, and when Steve writes, he does so on the bass, which is a different approach from the way one would write on a guitar. So those tails are played very much like a bass player, more rhythmic and tighter with the drums. So that part on bass looks like this. And you might have noticed that some of those notes kind of clash a little bit. So what you have here is some notes in unison, some are harmonized, and others are completely dissonant. And this is something that comes up fairly often in Iron Maiden's music. In fact, it's a key characteristic of the band's very unique sound. Now, you might not necessarily hear it in an obvious way, but you can definitely feel it. Anyway, let's get to the song. Here we go with Aces High. Thanks for watching. Cheers.
Bye.